Ventura Superior Court and Ventura Center for Dispute Settlement Civil Harassment Mediation Program. Welcome. The following instructional video provides information concerning the Ventura Superior Court and Ventura Center for Dispute Settlement Civil Harassment Mediation Program. This orientation describes some of the basic steps necessary to obtain a civil harassment restraining order and describes the benefits of participating in civil harassment mediation. The video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. If you wish to obtain legal advice, you should consider hiring an attorney. If you wish to seek further information, you may consider visiting the court's self-help center. The court's legal self-help centers do not provide legal advice and cannot act as your attorney. However, information about how to obtain affordable legal services is available. Materials are available for use within the self-help centers to assist people in completing forms and preparing court papers. Why mediate rather than litigate? What is mediation? Mediation is a voluntary and confidential process that allows the parties to meet with a professionally trained and impartial mediator. The mediator helps parties that are in conflict communicate with each other in a respectful and more effective way. The mediator will help the parties define issues, overcome obstacles in their communication, and explore potential solutions. The entire process proceeds by agreement of the parties, not at the direction of the mediator. The parties may meet together or separately. The decision is made by the parties, not by the mediator. No one will be forced to meet with the other party personally if he or she does not feel safe doing so. During the process, the mediator will help the parties explain their concerns and interests to the other party and will help the parties identify and communicate possible outcomes of the mediation process. The benefits of mediation. Court-connected mediation held at the courthouse is free. You can avoid the pressures of having to act as your own attorney in a court trial. Mediation can level the playing field a little and relieve feelings of intimidation, especially if the other side has an attorney. In mediation, you will reach your own solution. Solutions that address the interests and needs of the parties have a better chance for getting the other person to cooperate. The court knows less about the dispute than you do, and therefore may not give you the result you are looking for. In mediation, you can potentially reach an agreement on all issues that concern you, even those that cannot be dealt with in a trial. You can speak freely about your feelings, concerns, and suspicions, and know that they cannot be repeated in court. All discussions during the mediation are confidential and cannot be repeated at trial. Mediation can allow people to participate in clear, respectful communication. If you have a relationship of any kind with the other party and will have to or want to deal with them in the future, mediation can provide the opportunity for understanding better, communication, or even reconciliation. If you do not reach an agreement in mediation, you can still go to court and have a trial. Are you thinking of asking the court for a civil harassment restraining order? What is a civil harassment restraining order? A civil harassment restraining order is a court order issued by a judge that tells the restrained party, the person you're requesting protection from, to not harass or contact you, either directly or indirectly. A civil harassment restraining order can also order the restrained party to stay away from you, your home, your job, your vehicle, and others who live with you. Civil harassment restraining orders may be issued against someone who is harassing you, such as an acquaintance, co-worker, neighbor, or stranger. If that person is a close relative, someone you have dated, married, or with whom you've had children, you will be protected by domestic violence law, which defines harassment differently than the law for civil harassment. What is harassment under California law? Assault. Assault is intentionally attempting to cause harmful or offensive contact. For example, someone has swung a fist at you or thrown an object at you with the intention of hitting you, even if they miss you. Battery. Intentional, harmful, or offensive contact. For example, someone has swung a fist at you or thrown an object at you with the intention of hitting you, and they do hit you. Stalking. A series of repeated actions are meant to put you in fear for your safety or the safety of your immediate family. For example, someone repeatedly follows you, watches you, and/or makes repeated and unwanted contact with you by email, phone, or any other method of communication to scare or frighten you. Credible threat of violence. A statement or action that reasonably places you in fear for your safety or for the safety of your immediate family. Example, you personally hear someone say to you, "If you ever call the cops on me again, I'm going to kill you." Repeated actions that seriously alarm, annoy, or harass you, that serve no legitimate purpose and cause you extreme emotional distress. Example, someone has sent you 50 unwanted and upsetting text messages, emails, and/or voicemails within a week. How can I get a civil harassment restraining order? You need to fill out forms CH-100, CH-102, CH-120, and CH-140, and turn them into the court clerk's office at your courthouse. Follow the instructions for each form carefully and answer all the questions. You can find and fill out the forms online at www.courtinfo.ca.gov/forms. After you fill out and turn in the forms, you have to go in front of the judge to complete the process. Ventura Court Self-Help Centers provides information on a variety of legal issues including civil harassment, as well as information regarding adoption, conservatorship, guardianship, name change, small claims, evictions, appeals, general civil, jury service, traffic, juvenile, and family law. Legal self-help services are available at Ventura, Oxnard, and Simi Valley courthouses. Superior Court Self-Help Centers. The Ventura Court Self-Help Legal Access Center is located on the 4th floor of the Hall of Justice in room 400 at 800 South Victoria Avenue in Ventura. Family Resource Center at the Juvenile Courthouse is at 4353 East Vineyard Avenue, room 206, Oxnard. The phone number is 805-981-5974 for recorded information. The East County Self-Help Legal Access Center is located on the 2nd floor of the East County Courthouse at 3855 F. Alamos Street in Simi Valley. Each center provides information to help people representing themselves navigate the court process. The centers do not provide legal advice or representation, but they can provide legal information as well as information about affordable legal services. The centers have materials available for use within the center to assist people in completing forms and preparing court papers. To get a civil harassment restraining order, you usually need to do 2 steps. Ask for a temporary restraining order, ex parte hearing. Ask for a final or permanent restraining order at a court hearing. The judge first reads the forms you turned in to decide 2 things. 1, is there reasonable proof that you have been harassed under the law? And 2, Will you suffer great harm if the judge doesn't give you a restraining order right away? If the answer to both questions is yes, the judge will give you a temporary restraining order. The temporary order will stay in effect until there is a full court hearing to review the evidence, usually 15 to 22 days from the date you got the temporary restraining order. You will not automatically get a permanent restraining order just because you got a temporary restraining order or because the police told you to get one. To get a permanent restraining order, you must use evidence, written statements or testimony from people who saw the harassing activity, police reports, photographs, audio recordings, text messages, emails, letters, etc., that clearly shows that the person to be restrained engaged in behavior that California law defines as harassment. In most cases, the judge will not issue a final restraining order based only on your word. A permanent restraining order can last up to 3 years. How is a civil harassment restraining order enforced? The restraining order will be entered into the statewide law enforcement database known as CLETS, which allows law enforcement statewide to know of the existence of a restraining order. Once an order is made by the court, you can have the restrained person arrested if he or she violates the order. It is up to you to notify law enforcement if the restrained person has violated the order. Possible effects and limitations of restraining orders. What a restraining order will do for you. It will limit the restrained person's contact with you and other protected people. You can also call the police and have the party arrested if he or she violates the restraining order. The restrained person will have to turn over his or her guns to the local police as long as there is a restraining order. The restrained person will have an incentive to behave because they know they could get in trouble with the law if they violate the restraining order. A restraining order may also cut off communication and contact with someone whom you may have to deal with at work, within your family, or a neighbor, making it almost impossible to clear up any misunderstandings that exist between you. It may make worse an already bad situation because a restrained person walks away very angry. It can cause a restrained person to give up military or police service during the period of the restraining order, and may prevent them from getting that job back in the future. What a restraining order will not do for you. It will not cause the police to automatically arrest the person unless the police officer determines that he or she has, in fact, violated the order. It will not make the person behave if he or she is determined to continue with their harassing behavior. It will not force a person to get help for his or her substance abuse or anger problem. For further information about court-connected mediation services, contact the Ventura Center for Dispute Resolution. Phone number is 805-384-1313 or toll-free 866-799-VCDS. That's 866-799-8237. Or you may email at vcds@vcds.biz.